What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a good Wednesday. It's the morning after the night before, the morning after Manchester United's 1-1 draw with West Ham United at the London Stadium. And look, we don't play now for, 12 days? We don't play for nearly 2 weeks. Next time we play is a week on Monday against Everton away. We've got to watch people play in the FA Cup this weekend. We've got to regroup, regather. And look, there's a lot to discuss coming out of last night. I feel like, and don't worry, folks. Flex is going to be joining us. You'll be shocked to know. I mean, this is a bit of a shocker. I know. Flex is having some flechnology issues. Yes. He's having some flechnology issues. His internet is not working at the moment. So yes, he will be. He will be joining us very shortly. But how are we all feeling? Let's have an honest conversation. I'm going to try my best this morning to remain as calm as I can and not get too what's the word? Not get too I don't know if rattled is the right word, but something along those lines. Last night after Manchester United's draw at the London Stadium, probably our worst performance definitely our worst performance under Michael Carrick, but still did not lose the game. First 5 games, 13 points out of 15. I mean, if we offered that to anyone, before Michael Carrick started, oh my God, oh my goodness me, you'd have ripped your hand off for it. But, there is definitely... Yes, there can be constructive criticism, sure. But we don't need to take it too far, I don't think. We can have mature, grown-up, honest conversations, can't we? Can't we? Well, before we do, as always, folks, yeah, we've got to I'm trying to remain optimistic. I'm trying to remain... I can't think of another word. I didn't get much sleep last night. Optimised. Roll VT.
Today's video is sponsored by our friends at Oxford Natural and their all-new natural supplement, Optimum Day and Night. Thousands across the UK, USA and beyond are smashing their health goals with Oxford Natural. Optimum Day gives you steady energy, curbs your cravings and keeps your metabolism firing all day. Optimum Night helps you relax, get restorative sleep, recover and keep burning fat while you rest. It's not a magic pill, but it will help you reach your health goals. Check out some of the incredible results. 2 of our own, OWEN, lost over 100 pounds in 10 months, and KG dropped 30 pounds in 4 months. In 8 months, football legend Michael Owen lost 35 pounds, and Robbie from AFTV, Don Robbie, lost over 80 pounds. And in 6 months, Anita, an award-winning immigration lawyer, lost 44 pounds, and Linda, a law firm executive, lost over 50 pounds. No gimmicks, no needles, just results. Oxford Natural, let's get to work.
Yes, let's get to work indeed. As always, folks, you can scan the QR code right there. You can subscribe and save up to 70% off your first order. Use the code UV. You can get your Optimum Day, which is good for your weight loss goals. You can get your Optimum Night, which is good for your restorative sleep. You can get them individually or combined, any which way you please. As always, all the information is in the video description below. If you click any of the links in the chat, in the video description, or wherever, you can go to the landing page, find out more, and you can get optimized today, right? Optimized. Now, what I want to do this morning, actually, I really want to, particularly whilst we're sort of waiting for Flex for the internet stuff to sort out, I just want to really just go through your guys' thoughts and comments. I think this is an opportunity to be quite a bit of an open forum this morning. Certainly, TTS as always is on for Greens and Above, and I'll be reading out some of your chats from the free seats as well. Apologies, show this your super chat came through as the video was playing, so it didn't get read out allowed. But Show says United Strand was streaming on Kick and taking sponsors from Stake. Using charity as a guise for fame and money is ethically and morally wrong. Well, look, with that, I don't the finer details on it, like you said, the sponsors or anything like that. I don't know. I just know the surface level stuff with all that kind of stuff. I only know I know that he was streaming last night. Of course, we were streaming here, so I don't really know that much about it. And I don't know. I mean, I think it's just kind of par for the course. You know, I do think that obviously so much was made about the haircut stuff and all that. I'm still one of those people, and I know people have the opinions on all of this is very varied. For me, in terms of the whole haircut thing, I mean, I don't really care that much. You know what I mean? Like, I look at it as like, oh, okay, the guy cut his hair. Like the other day, I checked with my dad. I was like, oh, do surface level people, you know, that just sort of go through, you know, not living in football Twitter every day, do they know about it? They do. But it wasn't the first thing I was thinking of last night when I was watching the game or what have you. The first thing I was thinking about it was, you know, I wanted to win and we didn't. But I don't, you know, I do think some of the, it's a very broad spectrum of responses. I do think there are some people like I saw some people on X, like some big accounts kind of going after him. And I do think some of that is a bit sort of, I'm going to be completely honest, I do think some of it's a bit jealousy that they don't have the exposure that he has, you know. I saw one account like took a screen grab of him with a smile on his face towards the end of the match. And it was, oh, look at him. He's happy about this. We're not allowed to smile now. Am I a bit annoyed in the same way that a lot of people are, that it's just everywhere? You know, when it's just everywhere, and he feels like you can't escape it, that's annoying. You know what I mean? That is annoying. I'm with you there with that one. Because you don't want to feel like everything you click on or everything you look at, you just constantly see it. That is annoying. And it's almost like overexposure. But in the grand scheme of things, like the narrative of, oh, look, it's putting too much pressure on the game. Look, you play for Manchester United in the Premier League. Pressure comes with the territory. Tough shit. If you can't deal with someone taking, you know, doing a challenge about their hair, you know, then that's just it.
Believe.
Yeah.
At Scholes Music 6,659 super chatted £4.99. Is this why we need an experienced manager? Carrick was naive to change nothing for 2 games, 3 days apart. Cunha up top doesn't play to his strengths.
Well, I'm really glad you said this, because this was one of the things I did want to talk about with Carrick and all that. I feel that's really, really, really easy to say after the fact. Really easy to say after the fact, because if we're being honest, and let's be honest with ourselves here, let's not armchair quarterback this thing. 99, not everyone, obviously, everyone's got different opinions, but 95% of people would have kept the same team going into last night's game. Why? Because we had won the last 4 games. And even if we were playing in the FA Cup at the weekend, then maybe there would have been a thing of, right, rotate going into that one. But we're not playing for 13 days. Everyone would have kept the same team. And again, talk out both sides of our mouth. If Michael Carrick made a change to that team going into the game, it would have been, why'd you change your winning team? Look at Ruben. Ruben changed the winning team. Remember when Dorgu played as a winger? Did really well, then Ruben changed it. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that, right? So, yeah, I don't look at that as naivety at all, honestly. From Michael Carrick, I really don't. Let me bring in Flex here. Let me shift things around a bit and go to this. There you go, with the what you call it and the thingy. Oh, I'm live. Pressure. Don't worry about pressure with me, folks. Yeah, now I've got to deliver. There you go, and then Flex comes out. Damn. There you go.
Yeah,
You're in.
He's in.
You're in. You're in.
My thing, actually, that's really annoying. I hate when that happens. I feel like I come in at a good time here. I see a few people saying, let me unmirror that. There you go. Yeah, just good morning, people. Sorry, internet issues. Had to reset the old router. Like, it just started short circuiting just as I was about to go live with Owen. So apologies, people. I feel like I've just walked in. If I'm just getting a feel for it, I just saw that super chat there. Like, was he naive? Like, not changing it? And obviously, we're talking about Sesko must start now.
I said I want the show this morning to be a bit of an open forum. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just asking how people are feeling. You know, how you feeling about, you know, about everything coming out of last night.
Believe.
There we go. This is the open forum we're looking for.
At Sanjeet Gill 75 super chatted £10. We're going to discuss Owen's Juge. A whole music production on 5th win and a haircut, rolling on the floor laughing emoji. 3 highlights, Air Sesko, Butcher back heel and Lenny bloody Yoro. Agree, no need to be negative, still in a good place.
Believe.
At Shoals Music 6,659 super chatted £4.99. I hear you, but everyone could have told you we were going to be up against a nasty low block, and I want Carrick BTW.
I think with by the way, with that, I haven't made my mind up still on like Carrick, you know, whether I want him or not, because it's still really, really early. I do think that, you know, we got, again, I think it's important, and this is where we struggle as fans. We've struggled to maintain perspective here because this is 13 points out of 15. This is 4 wins and a draw. You know what I mean? There is no need to be, you know, so overly negative. Obviously, Flex, you didn't see it because you were at the game last night. But, you know, when we scored, I'm not going to lie, did go quite a lot of point scoring.
At Alilite 2,754 super chatted £5.
Not all elite, Alilite.
I was concerned beforehand at the same team. The front three haven't been flying, and it would have been nice to mix it up. Less predictable. No panic though.
That's fair. That's fair. You know what I mean? That's fair. That's fair. It was just, I was a bit frustrated last night, Flex, with when we went 1-0 down, I did see a lot of like negativity of, well, that's it. We've lost now. We're not going to be coming back. And obviously, as the game went on, and it did feel like, oh, maybe we're not going to score. But we've scored late goals recently. That's not really too much of a surprise, is it? You know what I mean?
At Ray Carl Brown Amory 3,509 super chatted £5. We can kinda slipped back in bad habits yesterday. We should shot on target more. 69 minute was when we had second shot and target.
Yeah, I think for me, I saw you guys' reaction. Big up to yourself, Ray. And everybody been sending super chats as well. Big up to each every single one of you. Good morning. Big up to every one of you in the chat, your members' chats. Big up. I did see, because obviously I was at the game, so I saw the clip go out of you and DJ when we equalised. Where's your negativity now? So I know how
it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
And we've been there. I can only imagine in the chat. Obviously in the ground, I was looking at it, just going. I still believe we can get something. We can get something. Just keep pushing. But it wasn't looking great. And I think what we're doing is we're doing all of these different. This is why this and this is why that. Michael Carrick said it in his post match. We didn't have that spark last night, and I don't necessarily think. I don't think that was a West Ham low block, backs against the wall, didn't come out to play. I actually think that we just didn't ask them any questions. They didn't have to defend that good, but we didn't have any runs going that way. The movement of the front three, I don't think, was good enough. Our intensity of how we were playing the game, especially first half, we had an era. We had an era of control. Like, we weren't in any trouble, but we didn't turn that into moving the ball quickly enough to give them any trouble. If you ask West Ham at halftime, they probably felt quite comfortable too. We had one cleared off the line from Wemby when Luke Shaw had the shot. They had the Somerville shot where he's cut in. It's comfortable, safe for Sonny Lummons. Other than that, there was nothing between the two teams. You know, and Savage says that it was a classic low block. They're a little bit deeper than normal teams, but it wasn't. They come to stink out the gap. They didn't have to defend. I don't know. I don't know with that. I feel like, yeah, but sometimes that's what happens when you face a low block, isn't it? You have a lot of the ball. Yeah, but I'm saying the reason why. But I'm saying the reason why is that we actually did the movement of our own players. I don't know what it looked like on TV, but I'm looking at us off the ball, as in we're in possession of the ball. But I'm looking at all of our other players, every other player of our player that didn't have the ball. I'm looking at Cunha. I'm saying, what are you doing to come and get this ball? What are you trying to do to run in behind? And Brumo, I feel like they've got two really good fullbacks in 1v1s, like they're physical in terms of Wan-Bissaka and Diouf. It's like they didn't really want to go at them. Cobby, I think, played really well second half, but I don't. Yes, there is in a lowish block, but I don't think they sat back and just stunk it out. Like I don't think that. I don't think.
Well, I don't think we should get dogged down in the semantics of what is and isn't a low block. You know, they were. We just didn't do enough. We didn't do enough. They were a Nuno team, which is they are compact. You know what I mean? Yes, they do get behind the ball. They're difficult to break down. They'll get behind the ball quickly. So if you define that as a low block, you don't define it as a low block. Really, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? What it's defined of. You know, they were a Nuno team, which is difficult to break down. And this was my frustration too. Is after the match, we went back into that. A bit of entitlement. I feel like of, well, we should be beating West Ham. They're 18th in the league. Well, in reality, they're a West Ham team that they're banging form. They genuinely are banging form. There was this tweet I played. I put it up before the game. Be good if I added myself in. It was United sit second in the Premier League table since Michael Carrick was appointed. West Ham are third, winning 3 wins out of their last 4. So they are genuinely. It's not like we played a bang out of form team or anything like that. It was going to be a tough game. It was a tough game. But when you're playing the way that they did set up, regardless if that's low block or not, as we saw during the match, got to move the ball quicker.
Slow. We were moving slow.
We're moving it side to side, and that front 4 of Mbumo, Ahmad, Cunha, Bruno. A lot of them ghosted through that game. Bruno didn't see much of them at all.
Not
Cunha barely touched the ball.
Anonymous.
Ahmad, I thought Ahmad's decision making was really, really poor, and Mbumo the same. So. Yeah,
nobody offered anything until Kobe got a hold of it in the second half. And look, Casemiro scores a goal. It's so marginal offside. So it's such a good ball from Kobe, by the way. That is
just on that,
It was his head and the shoulder. I saw the thing. I was in the gantry, and I'm like, what?
Just on that, right? This is, and a lot of people pointing this out, and it is very true. This is when you get into like weirdness with VAR and all that kind of stuff, right? You remember when Vert scored, whenever it was, and they did the whole piece on there's a 5 centimeter allowance or something like that. And yet there were 2 instances, not just for United, but in the Newcastle game, I think it was last night, where there was a really tight offside.
Yes, Newcastle Spurs.
Suddenly that rule now doesn't exist anymore. Actually, if I get it up on the screen, this was the sort of 5 centimeter tolerance rule. The goal stood because the Premier League's 5 centimeter tolerance level, which gives the benefit of the doubt to attacker if the semi-automated lines overlap. Well, that was the one in the game I was talking about, the Spurs one. What's that? That's 5 centimeters. Same with the Casemiro one last night. It was 5 centimeters. So what we doing here?
It doesn't make any sense.
But it doesn't make any sense. Either you go with it, because if you are going to go with the 5 centimeter tolerance rule, then you're going to have a lot more goals be given, which I think is probably
what we want.
Football. Yeah, you want to see attacking football, but I just don't understand how. Suddenly that rule, which by the way I'd never heard of before until that Liverpool game.
Yeah, didn't even know it was a thing.
I don't know. I don't know. But it was to go back to worse. Like you said, it even on not on our best day, we have one cleared off the line. An offside goal, and obviously Sesko scores at the end. I think there can maybe be criticisms of Carrick, and you can maybe say, all right, it's easy to say in hindsight, maybe should have rotated. Maybe that's something to look at for next season if he does get the job. You're playing games every 3 days and what have you. But I just can't sit here and pretend that, oh, yeah, we all knew that Sesko should have started last night on, this is why Carrick shouldn't get the job or anything like that, because that's just silly. And there were, once again, and I will continue to call it out, there are a lot of people, and they're United fans, allegedly, basically waiting for us to lose again. And even if we lost last night, we're
gonna lose,
and it was 4 wins out of 5, that's still really good form. You know what I mean?
When you win 4 in a row, there's margin, there's some margin for errors. And I just think the problem that happened last night was that, like Michael Carrick said, we didn't have that spark. We didn't play with intensity. We didn't move the ball quick enough. We didn't ask enough questions of West Ham. We didn't ask enough questions, and they are in good form. So they're not. So because they're not the same team from when we last played them, and we actually drew against them then as well.
Yeah.
They're still not the same team as that are in free fall, and it's absolute toxicity running through the veins of every fabric in the club. I was there last night. I'm not saying they were singing loud throughout the whole game, because they weren't. The game was there for us to be taken.
It was quiet,
but it was very, very quiet.
Really quiet.
But our players didn't do enough. They didn't do enough. One thing I would say, could Carrick have changed it earlier? Could he have changed it earlier? Maybe, yes. He waited quite a while for that. However, like someone said just as I was going on here, his substitution scored. Again, Benjamin Sesko, since Michael Carrick's got here, he hasn't started a game in the 5 games he's had, but he's clearly kept him locked in. They're keeping him hungry. They're keeping him ready to be able to perform coming off the bench. Now, not every time he's going to be able to come off the bench and get a winner, get a decider, get a consolation or whatever it is. Of course, that's not how football works. Just like every game, Bruno's not going to be able to provide a bit of magic. He was very average last night. Doesn't mean you take back everything that he's been doing this season. He had an average game, as did the team. But it did show that Sesko's locked in. And also, what I would say, which was refreshing to see, was that Carrick did go unlike the last guy. You know, we're losing this game. We're heading into the last minutes of it, last 10, 15, whatever. I think Harry Maguire, don't know what he said after, probably would have come off because he probably was managing something. Because he's not really going to take off the centre back. So, and I tell you what, Lenny Yoro made some big blocks and some big decisions to keep it at 1-0 when it was 1-0 in transition, and Leacher. And then he takes off the fourth, and Lomans. He takes off the fourth defender and says, well, Man United, we need to go fucking chase the game, mate. If we lose 2-0, we'll lose 2-0. Put Xerxes up there he nearly scored, Xerxes. Whistled past the post, should have scored that. So his attitude to having an off night was the right attitude. Throw the stuff. I'm not saying it's revolutionary. I get it. So he took too long. I understand that. I get it. We're not going to get every single thing right. But so across in his mark in his book is that he took too long to make the subs. A tick is that he made subs and took off a defender. We'll go for the fucking game, you know. And then we managed. And another tick is that we didn't lose. We didn't lose. You know I mean, we can't have it our own way every single time.
No, Vincent says Owen is so much into Carrick getting the full-time job. Absolutely not, by the way. Diverting from the fact the team was lackluster from the start with one game a week and no idea how to break a low block. Everton next.
So that means we should get rid of Carrick now.
I'm actually the opposite of that. I'm not so keen on Carrick getting the job, but I am pushing back on people that a draw against West Ham is a disqualifying thing for him to get the job. You know what I mean? Just in the same way that had we won last night, right, and people would give Carrick the job, it would have been, that's way too soon to give Michael Carrick the job. In the same vein, it's way too early to say he's not going to get the job when he hasn't lost. You know what I mean?
Even if he does lose, what is it? Yeah, we have to. Do you bounce back? Do you go on another winning run?
I mean, we have to get our minds around, right? This might blow some people's minds here. Man United's going to lose games this season, right? We're gonna lose games, and we're going to draw games, and also we're going to play badly in some games, right? I remember Manchester United, what season was this? This was 2010, 2011, I think it was. Man United won the league that season. We were unbeaten until like December-ish time, winter time, and there was talks about United going invincible that season. Do you know who we lost to? It was away to bottom of the league Wolves that season, right? Because guess what? It happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It happens. You don't win every single game. You're not going to go perfect until the end of the season. Now, obviously, you can have the discussions about, like you said, Carrick could have been maybe reactive a bit quicker. You know, the subs he did make, though, like you said, did work. I think now's the really interesting one. 13 days time. Now's the discussion to rotate, isn't it? Because you didn't win your last game, so now you're trying to find the combinations to play. Sesko should start, as we said. He's come on. He's done well recently. But we've spoken so much about United DNA recently, and United not playing well, but still getting something out of the game. That is United DNA. My whole life, even during the peak times of Sir Alex, I saw Sir Alex team stink out the joint and either win it or nick it in the last minute and get a draw, right? Because that's what it's all about. So, yeah, I think there can be discussion about, maybe disappointment in the performance, certainly, because it was the worst performance. But it really is not the end of the world. And if he carried on this form for the rest of the season still, it would be ridiculous. And even like the stuff about, like, say, Yoro, like, Yoro coming. I saw some stuff about, Yoro should have started. Well, this is the same Lenny Yoro that people are criticising the last month or two because of a crisis of confidence and maybe we need to be taken out the team. Same with Sesko. Do you remember just a couple of months ago, the discussions about Sesko of, not good enough though, is he, Flex? You know what I mean? I'm not having Sesko. Yeah, he's got to do more. He's got to do more. I don't know about that. And now it's Sesko. He's got to be into the team. I said Sesko should have started last night. Bless this, that, and the other. So I think that if you look at these first 5 games, because we're effectively on like an international break now, aren't we? It's 2 weeks. If you look at these 5 games, why would we focus on the one negative, which isn't even that much of a negative, as opposed to the four positives in the space of a month, which Carrick has been here?
December.
We've beaten the 2 best teams in the league. To your point, we're unbeaten. We've got the longest unbeaten streak in the Premier League right now. Longest unbeaten streak in the Premier League right now. It's 9 games, by the way.
So there's an element of consistency to what we're doing. Of course, those draws, you want to turn them into wins. I just saw Samuel Luckhurst in spectacular fashion. Last night was a useful reminder that if Man United want to get back to where they want to be again, it will have to be without some players. Okay. The away end know it, and Carrick knows it. from his own experience. Man United brought crashing back down to earth as old troubles show Michael Carrick, and then it cuts off there, crashing back down to earth. Like it's just so dramatic. Like, crashing back down to earth is winning your last 4 games, getting a draw against a team that's in a decent bit of form themselves, and not losing a game. Like, that's crashing back there. Smack, bang, wallop, smack you in the face. There you go. Basically, you just got 3-0'd. Basically, you just lost the game 3-0 because you got smacked back down to earth to show that you're not those 4 games meant nothing. There you go. When in essence, it shows that the 4 games does mean something, because the confidence to never say that. We've scored 3 late goals, 85+ minute goals in the last 5 games. That shows you that no matter the situation, or no matter what we're up against, there's a belief within the squad that we're not out of this game. We can take something from this game. From Arsenal, it was we can get all 3 points. From Fulham, it was this doesn't have to be a draw, even though we fucked it up for 10 minutes and now it's 2-2. Let's go and get a winner. And then last night it was again Sesko. Let's go and get something out of this game. And he said after the game, by the way, we're not happy with the draw.
No,
we're not even happy with the draw. And by the way, what a finish, by the way. Has anyone even spoke about what a goal that actually is? I still don't know how he's really scored that round the corner. And he came on, he had a shot on target as well from quite a distance, but he made a shot on target. So he's come on, had 2 shots, 2 on target, 1 goal in a limited amount of time. Xerxes nearly scored. Casemiro put the ball in the back of the net when we weren't at our best. We was
off the line in the first half as well, from set piece.
Off the line in the first half. So for me, it is about perspective. It is about how you look at things. And this isn't just like the positive brigade because we've changed our tune and now we want to just be behind Carrick and not say anything bad. Absolutely. Criticism, could have changed it earlier. Criticism, what does it look like if a team does sit off? This is probably the one game we've all said we're probably going to have problems against a team that isn't as much on the front foot. Like Fulham wasn't that game. They wasn't. Spurs had 10 men, so it's a bit different, and they came to play a little bit. It was fairly even in the first 30 minutes. Even
West Ham are better than Spurs. West
Ham are better than Spurs. Yeah. Arsenal, you dig in. City, you dig in, and you got to show something. So the same people that have said, yeah, but team that maybe sit off a little bit. How are United going to be? We know we're going to have some issues there. We're not that team. Carrick can't come in and just wave a wand and all of a sudden we're a multifaceted team that has all these different brilliant stuff going on. No, he has to find a way. The main thing that Carrick's got, which I like, is belief, is intent. You know what I mean?
And that's why I was so pissed off when with people last night and when I went in, but when we scored the goal, because I would get the not having belief if this was a team that hadn't scored late goals this season. But we've done it as recently as like the last couple of weeks, let alone even when Amron was here.
3 out of the last 5.
Liverpool, late goal. Spurs earlier on the season, late goal. Forest earlier on the season, late goal. Like we've done it so many times. So that's why
believe. The players do believe.
That's why I was so pissed off that we're 1-0 down, and it was just so like defeated. Throw the toys at the pram of we're not scoring, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, we've shown this, and that is Man United DNA. I mean, I know Jogu's saying it's not sustainable. I'd rather not see us score late goals. Well, no one would rather. We'd rather win the game comfortably. But again, it's football at the end of the day. If Man United is built on late goals, you know what I mean? Some of our greatest moments have been built on late goals. I go back to, I think if some of these fans were around in '99, go back and watch that Champions League final. We were shit for the whole game, and we scored 2 goals at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's how it works. That is a sign of a good team, is resilience and not giving up. And then when you're not playing your best, you still get something, out of it. Yeah. And, and some of the late goals as well this season are because of the frailties that we know about. We know that we leak goals. We know we can see goals. I think the positive is that we can come back. The positive is that we can come back. And I get it. You can't be doing that every single week. No, I don't think anyone's an advocate for that. No one wants every single week for us to, have to come back in the 93rd minute or anything like that.
You want some of the games like Spurs as a comfy 2-0.
Yeah, of course. But then again, that's the point, isn't it? That's the great point there. So again, we're focusing on, can't do late goals forever. Well, we didn't do that at the weekend. So what? You know what I mean? We didn't do that. We're not doing it every single game, right? So I just feel like for 2 years we've had really nothing to believe in, because the performances have been shit. I just don't really get the mindset of actually look at 5 games there, and on the whole, the performances have been very, very good. It's not just been fluke results when we go for we didn't play very well today. We kind of got something out of that. We did that last night, but for the majority of those games, we played well and we deserved to win. And actually, even last night, I felt like we probably deserved a point. It wasn't. I
was going to say a point was probably about fair for both teams in the end. I mean,
exactly.
I know we had the ball in the net disallowed, and we made. If you go chance for chance, we probably made a couple more chances than them. They literally only had the goal, but then to be fair to them, they had the chance to kill the game at 2-0 when we were going for it. And that's the Sir Alex thing of what you say. If you're losing 1-0, you fucking go for it. Go for it. If you lose 2-0, you lose 2-0. And actually, with better decision making, I think it was young Skulls that tried to play in Wilson, and he was offside. Adama comes on. We have to make big blocks. They could have put us to bed in this.
And that's a really good point,
risk.
Actually,
that's a really good point. The risk. And no one's talking about the risk.
Maybe that's why you don't do that from early, because let's be honest.
Yeah.
When we do make that change, we could have been like 2 or 3.
The game was open as hell, bro.
Because you know what I mean. Euro's making blocks, and Lomans is making one-on-one saves with Callum
Wilson against his arch nemesis, my man. What's his name?
Traore. Yeah,
Traore. I mean, made a big block. They had to defend proper.
If you do that at 75 minutes, you're gonna concede goals.
I saw on that counter-attack. You talk about effort. No one, I don't think you would have seen it on TV. If you did, let me know. And if you picked up on it, let me know. I saw Adama put the burners on for the counter-attack because I think we had it and the ball broke down. And did you see Mbumo put his head back and fucking basically match him almost stride for stride to get back in? And he didn't get the block, but the willingness to do your job. Lenny Yoro coming across quick, like I said, Lissandro. So also it comes with, Redding. He had the same pace as Adama. Couldn't believe it. So Carrick had the element of risk that wouldn't have been there under Ruben. That would have been, I don't care. The process is the process. We still got 5 at the back. If anything, I'll change Harry Maguire for Yoro at centre-back, or I'll bring Mazraoui on right centre-back, but I'm keeping the same shape, etc., etc., etc. But I do think that there's 2 sides to looking at everything. And when you wake up the next day, both managers, I was in the flash interview when Nuno was doing his interviews with TalkSport, and I left before Carrick got there, went to the mixer and was listening to Sonny Lemon speak to the media. But Nuno was saying it's tough to take in the last minute. They asked him, should they have seen the game out? And he's like, we want to kill the game with goals, because Man United are always in it. So I don't blame Freddie Little Skulls, can't remember his first name. But, you can't, we're just looking, I say we, but some people are just looking for nitpicking of, this is why he should have started Sesko, or this is why he should have made the change, or this is why. What about the players? The first half, even in the second half for large parts, but mainly the first half, I was looking at the amount of players we were committing ahead of the ball, guys. I don't know if you don't realize it was. I'm like, where's the players in the box? Stuart Pearce next to me, he's going, they're not committing anybody. Not even. That's what I meant. They weren't really asking questions of Disasi, Mavropanos, and maybe saying it wasn't a low block was too far. Maybe what I meant was that we didn't ask them any questions. So okay, they were set up lower and to stifle and compact and stuff, but they didn't have to defend very well because we didn't ask them questions, is what I saw.
No, that was the thing. Like I said, I think that we can get into semantics of low block, what it is and it isn't. I think again they were a Nuno side. They were compact. With Nuno, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get compact, and they'll try and hit you on the break. I totally agree. That's why I say that front 4. And even really the midfielders, people like Cass, they weren't asking enough questions. If anything, the only person that I can really think of that was trying to sort of break the lines of forward passes was probably Leacher. A couple of times he was getting the ball and he was trying to just go forward. And there was a lot of sort of sideways passing and trying to put the ball through the eye of the needle. And it wasn't that. And then in the occasion when we did get a bit of space, I go back to that front 4. The decision making or the quality of pass was really bad at points.
It really was. It was.
When they were doing ball over the top, it was always going out for a goal kick.
Nobody,
it was stuff like that. So that's when I go back to again that front 4. I thought was really disappointing last night. And
the supporting pass weren't good enough. I give Cobby credit after the goal. Where Cobby, to be fair, between Cobby and Leacher, I don't know how Souček gets through there, really. They went napping and he just got a tap in. But after the goal, I thought Cobby was probing. Cobby was trying to get on the ball. The goal was really poor. And Luke Shaw, that was flex judge because we're bigging him up, saying he's got to get back in the England team. And he has been flawless this year. I think he's been really good. But he short-circuited. You see how Harry Maguire short-circuited for 10 minutes against Fulham? and then the chance went over his head. Then he gave away the pen. Like, he just short-circuited. I don't know why he's let that ball bounce. I'm looking at it going, don't let that bounce. Then he jumps. Then he jumps and goes, fuck it. I need to rectify the mistake. Misses the tackle. And then we're on the back foot. But then it was Souček who's fucking slow as anything, like a lorry.
Cobby should do better.
Just run through.
Should do a lot better.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure. It looks like Cobby's trying to pass him off, but he's next to the post. So who's passing him off? I don't get it. And again, that's the frustrating thing, because that was such a poor goal to concede.
It really was.
And if you're playing a team, if you're playing a Nuno team, the last thing you want to do is give them up something to hold on to. You know, if you give them something to hold on to, and the place was quiet, and then obviously once they scored, it was a bit louder. So yeah, that was a really disappointing goal, but it was, you know, it was easily the worst performance under Carrick. No doubt about that. But you know, it's not the end of the world. We're still in 4th place. A bit of fortune in the sense that Chelsea dropped points too, so that doesn't really.
So it's as you were. And then hopefully Liverpool got some more points. But
there's a lot of football to do.
Exactly within that period, you know, Chelsea. I was saying to Matisse the other day, I was like, you know what, your guy, although he's getting meaned and stuff as David Brent and all that, and you know, Will from in between, is like. He's won 6 out of 8. You know, he's only lost 2 games to Arsenal, which he should lose. Yeah. He's won 4 in a row. But then Matisse brought this up, to be fair, and just as he said it, look, they drew 2-0 to 2-2 to Leeds. He's like, yeah, but this run is where, because I was like, when's his hard game's going to come? He is playing teams that kind of expect him, and then he showed me after. I think they got one more easier game, and then after that, they've got like Man United, they got us, they got Arsenal away, they got Newcastle, they got City away, I think, or home, one of the two. Like, they've got a batch of hard games, I think, I was looking at as well.
And then, to be honest,
like you said,
they should have won.
They should have
won.
They should have won. Cole Palmer already. I don't know how he's missed. But, you know, there's games like that where you should win, you don't win. People are going to... None of these teams, us,
that's
Liverpool, Chelsea, we ain't just going to go cruising and winning all the games to the end. You know, sometimes it's going to happen.
No.
So for me, I don't have an issue with that. Big up Red Devil says, glory, glory, Man United. Happy Lunar Year. From
Vietnam.
Yeah.
Red, he's always getting involved. You're always getting involved.
Big up Aminor.
Yeah.
Says United historically cannot really beat low block teams.
I think just a lot of teams will struggle against low block teams. You know what I mean?
You have to be a very good team to be able to deal with that.
Yeah. Tabra says, whatever happens at tonight, we're still 4th. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ronnie Dodge says, fan base is overreactive. We are 9 unbeaten, actually. Not even 7, 9 unbeaten. Still 4th in the most and the longest unbeaten run in the Prem at the moment. Or Team Nathan here says, has been 43 months, says, yesterday wasn't on Carrick. Sometimes the players have to figure it out. We needed a bit of individual brilliance. Either way, we're on the right path. # UVFam. I don't even say, I kind of push back on that, to be honest, Nathan. I'd still go, look, I'll keep the same energy that I keep with every manager, that if you don't win a game, then as a coach, you're going to get criticized because, you know, by logic, something you've done there probably wasn't the right decision somewhere, you know, and Carrick probably could have been a bit more reactive on it. But also on another day, you could say that we did enough to win that game with some of the chances that we had, you know, even like you said, Xerxes, obviously the Sesko goal, the one off the line, the offside, which apparently you can make up a rule that maybe that could be given. I don't know. And Tabra says, drawing at the issue is how these lads respond. And that's it. And I tell you what, Flex, because I did say this during the stream too. I'm so glad, obviously, we get the late goal, not just because we don't lose, but because we don't play for 13 days off the back of a loss. Like, even though it would have been one loss, you know, we won 4 in a row, then we lose. It would just, the discussion about it would have just been so shit for 13 days, wouldn't it? It really would have. Like, we just don't need, you know, that like negativity when you do take a step back and see where we're at in the Prem and go 4th place. If beginning of the season, if you'd have said 11th of Feb, you can be in 4th and you'll be on the longest unbeaten run in the Prem. You know what I mean? You'd go, oh my God, I'll have that any day of the week, you know?
And I do think, as is normal, when things don't go quite right, so if we would have won yesterday, it might not have thrown up certain questions. So immediately, no, listen, our title is, you know, Sesko should start next game, should he? Is it time to start bringing him in? What does it look like? And I think there's so many things that can be true, right? So Michael Carrick has gone with a certain bunch of tactics and team selection that has obviously served him well because we've won fucking 4 games in a row, right? But that doesn't mean that for the
subs in the league as well,
against 2 of the best teams in the league, right? But that doesn't mean that the next game's coming up, that's the right team to put out. You go with the energy in the squad, you go with the momentum, you go with the confidence, you go with the skill set of the other team. And then you look at the Everton and then you look at, I want to talk about like our squad building in general, because obviously just because you win 4 in a row, it doesn't mean like, see, that's why we don't need a proper left winger in the summer, because you got Cunha, you could do that. Or that's why you don't need to go and get another striker, because Boomer can play that. Like, you do have to look at the squad you're building to see. And I did find it interesting that I just want to talk about Cunha for a second. I want to see what everybody else thinks. Mm-hmm. I think like him playing from the left, like consistently, I don't know if that's gonna. I don't think that's gonna work. I think there will be moments where, obviously, if we're on song and he's coming in from the left hand side and we're fluid, and the game's a little bit more open, he can get on the ball. But yesterday highlighted like between him and then Bumo playing on the left as well. By the way, I don't think he looked quite comfortable there. Like, you know, like I think they can do it in certain games. And listen, we can win a game with them playing there. We can draw a game like we did last night with them playing there. We can lose a game. But I'm talking about if we're building a squad, if, say, Michael Carrick stays. I just started thinking loads of things in my head. I'm just letting you guys know what I was thinking. Say Michael Carrick did stay. That means we essentially, and he stays with the same, like 4-4-2. Let's say that's what it is. That's what we play now. We play 4-4-2. I know Bruno's the 10. But he has, and there is quite a bit of fluidity in our front three now, or front four, because I say like Cunha and Bruno swap in, and you know sometimes Bruno will end up on the left and tell one to run to. So it's quite fluid. Is that the right way to go, or do we still need sort of an orthodox left winger who's like he's left-footed but he's right-footed but he cuts in on his right, like how the modern day wingers are, fast, direct, he doesn't want to just spend time central, or do you know what I mean? Like, what's our squad building going to look like?
Yeah, I think you just need options. I think it's just a case of options. That's why I go back to the thing about, oh, Michael Carrick should have rotated, or he should have done this, he should have done that. When you do look at the bench, there's only a couple of names on there that you would go, oh, maybe he should play instead of him. You know, still a lot of the options we have on the bench aren't great. You know what I mean?
Right now, not attacking wise. No.
So, and I said this during the match for you last night. I think it would have been a game for
the left.
It would have been a game for Dorgu. It would have been a game for Dorgu last night. Just a bit of an injection of speed, because he's not, you know, the most technically refined player. So just the running in behind or running at people would have been something. That's where in the summer you would look at going, right. Obviously, we know we're going to be getting.
We've got rid of 3 wingers.
A midfielder or 2, but we do need more attacking options. If we're going to be we're going back to 4-2-3-1, we need more attacking options for those wide players, because I can understand the sort of dilemma that maybe Carrick is having, because even if an Mbumo's not playing well, or Cunha's not playing well, or an Ahmad's not playing well, I'm sure he probably does. He probably just turns to his bench and goes, "Who do I? What?
You got nothing. You actually got nothing left field. Can't play Xerxes out there auxiliary. You can only throw him up into the mix. Yeah, there's no one there. So we do need. Bring on? I agree with you 100%. And I'm looking at Cunha and I'm going. There's going to be games where he's surfing. There's going to be games that's quite open, so he can link up. Like, you see how the Arsenal one was, where I think he started off up front, then he went to the left when Sesko came on. He can link up, bounce it. We're in a bit of free flowing. Like when everyone's, I just think in isolation, him as a left winger is a bit of a shoehorn job. I do. And I think in Bruno is best from the right / up front. I'm not sure about him I looked at him on the left-hand side yesterday for large parts. Second half was a bit different, and he gets the assist, by the way, which was brilliant. But in the first half, I looked at him sort of not wanting to go at Wan-Bissaka. Now, I don't know whether that's because, again, he's a bit uncomfortable being out on his left foot, wanting to go past him, or because Wan-Bissaka, listen, is one of the top guys in Europe for 1v1s. We all know about that. It just felt like, I don't know.
He's just not that kind of player. He's just not that type of player.
He's someone who needs to cut in and get his shots off, and so he needs to really play from the right if you're going to get the best out of him, or in the middle.
Well, I think to be honest with you, actually, what we have seen with him under Carrick is that he might actually be a bit more effective coming on off the bench, you know, during games. You know, some of his better performances recently, Cunha.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Cunha, like obviously, you know, the game against City where he came on, did really well, got an assist. Of course, he came on against Arsenal, scored the goal.
Yeah.
Because I think he does a little bit better when the game is a little bit more stretched. You know, if it is
because even the game against Fulham, I was saying the same thing. Like, apart from the 2 moments he had, he didn't play very well. He didn't play very well.
Well,
Spurs.
again,
What did he do
I
against
just think,
Spurs?
and again, I think
Right,
that's when it
right,
goes
yeah.
back to having options, doesn't it? I think that's when it goes back to having
Yeah.
options because, you know, he can be someone that can drift in and out of the game and he can go through the game. He's not like Mbumo where even if he's having a bad game, he'll still have quite a few touches of the ball and still be quite involved.
Yeah.
Cunha can drift through the games, and that's
But
when you need
that's where
options
I
that
expect a bit more because I know he can take the ball. I know he can and one thing Amram did used to say is like that's why he likes Cunha and Bruno because even when the chips are down, those guys will keep working and say, "Give me the ball, we can make something happen." And I do want to see Cunha do that a little bit more for me because I know he's capable of that. I want to see him involved, getting more touches. But in the right areas, not just dead touches for just take a touch's sake. And in a game like yesterday where you want to unlock a little bit, I want to see you kind of drop deep to go long. I want to see you get in the pockets and get on the half turn, draw fouls. I just wasn't seeing enough from him. And obviously, look, subsequently, he was taken off. He had a poor game yesterday, as did a lot of the attackers.
Yeah.
So I'm not just honing on him. You know, D Witness says that Ahmad Agenda is starting online. That's this fan base. And I haven't really seen that Ahmad Agenda.
I've seen criticism of performances, but I think, to be honest, they've been kind of warranted. I mean, obviously, look, again, this is where people take it too far because then they'll go like, "Oh, he's actually never good, and we shouldn't have given him a new contract last season." And you just go, "Oh, okay." But he hasn't been great the last few games, and he's been doing.
He works hard
and
and he makes good decisions. He makes simple. He keeps the ball, but we want him to go and express himself in that final third now.
I think he's been doing a bit too much of the down the blind alley stuff a couple of times, you know, not releasing the ball earlier enough. And he's another one. But it's the dilemma of, okay, right, if you take him off, who comes on for him? You know, is it a case if you go, right, okay, right, maybe next game, maybe he doesn't start and it's Mbumo out wide and Sesko through the middle. Maybe that's what it is. The entire sort of front four last night just weren't at it. Bruno was really quiet as well. You know, it was one of and maybe that's quiet. No shock. Maybe that's no shock that once again we say if Man United are going to score goals or do stuff, it's going to come from Bruno. If he's got a quiet game, then suddenly our front four is quite quiet too. So
I did touch on it, and I've seen
back.
Of course, I did touch on it earlier, and I've only just seen now on X that Lenny Yoro is trending actually. So people are thinking the same as what I was thinking. Where I was like, he came on and played really well. Like he ran his ass off, and he had some big. Yeah. His confidence has been low recently. Do you know what I mean? Not getting in the team, and even before Ruben left, he was out the team, struggling a little bit. He played well. He played well, and he came on. He snuffed out the danger. Went toe to toe with Adama, toe to toe with Callum Wilson with big blocks. So, like I said, we could have been 2-0 down and game over if he went to sleep, you know, and didn't do his job. So you can't win them all.
This is my concern, though, with the Maguire thing. You know, I was saying recently, obviously, there's been all this chat about Maguire new contract. Saying this season he's been injured a lot. He's been injured a lot this season,
and this is one game a week with loads of time to.
He's been injured a lot, and I actually think I think he did all right last night when he played, I think he did his hamstring like half an hour into it, and I was surprised that he didn't because he did a slide tackle that he was holding his hamstring and it looked like he recovered, and then in the second half, you saw I don't know if you saw it on the screens or whatever, but as he was sort of walking past Leach, he was after my hamstring's gone, like you know. And the fortunate thing is we've got a couple of weeks, so who knows? But and I know prior to the game there were reports saying that. You know, it's expected that he will sign a new contract at United, Maguire, not obviously for the wages that he's on, but we'll see. But this was kind of my point with him is that I don't think we can go into next season and our starting centre-backs be Leacher and Maguire. You know, certainly with Maguire injury, with De Ligt, he's still not back yet. So I think we need to go get another centre-back in the summer. So again, we're looking at a summer where we're going, right, we might need a centre-back, you know, might need probably two midfielders, left winger, like we got, you know what I mean? We got a lot. We got a lot of work to do, and also that's where you need the Champions League money because you're going to need money to spend, and you're going to need a pool of players to go after as well. So, yeah. But actually, while I'm talking about defenses as well, it's nice to see that Dallow's back because he was awful last night. He was absolutely shocking.
He was bad. He was bad. And Somerville's is bang on it at the minute, and he looked so sharp. He got cooked for that yellow card that he got in the second half that led to the free kick. I
was so pissed off with that because I'm a Man United fan. I don't watch West Ham every single week. You've probably seen more West Ham.
But he's
games than I just play.
He's
I know. Well, that's just what I was going to say. Every West Ham game I've seen, he's done well. But also with him, you know what he's going to do in the sense of he's always trying to cut inside, always try and whip it, right? That's his game. So you would think first couple of times he tries to do that, Dallo, don't let it happen.
Yeah,
First time, Lomans has to do a save, has to do a save. For whatever reason, it was one of those ones where Dallo, it was like he didn't even know who his opponent was going to be. You know what I mean? He just could not deal with him at all. And look, he's a top player, but I was looking at Dallo going, and then with Dallo, it's like when someone's got the beating of him, then just everything else in his entire game will just vanish.
His confidence just goes.
Anything.
And again, he's another one. He's been big enough in the last sort of 4 games. He's been the turnaround's been good. But yeah, he didn't play his best last night. I would say for sure. So and just on Sesko, like I said, we said it was a top finish before we finish off. What's he got? 5 in his last 6 or something like that. I think I saw. Like he's starting to grow in confidence. He's starting to grow in confidence, and he's scoring he's showing some good ability, man. I think again, depending on how you consume your football or what you buy into online, people will have you think about the dud that Man United bought. And we know he's not that. There you go. Benjamin Sesko has scored 4 league goals in 2026. The only player who scored more is Cole Palmer, although 4 of his 5 are penalties. Cole Palmer loves the penalties, isn't he? And when you look at it, again, people who don't watch United won't realise he's not starting all the games, injured for a while as well. And of course, he's young, held back a little bit by Ruben. There's so much to work with there with him. Yes, there's times where he needs to look after the ball a little bit better. I want him to master his size a little bit better, put himself about a bit more because he's such a physical specimen. I think once he masters that as he gets older, it'll be fine. Thomas Frank sacked.
I haven't seen it yet. I'll have a look.
No.
And the thing is, now you don't even know which Frank you're talking about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, surely he's going to get sacked at it. Surely,
I would think so. I mean,
he said no, it's fine. Yeah,
they got Arsenal the
like
weekend.
10 days.
Yeah, nothing's on the Tottenham Twitter. Nothing's on the Tottenham Twitter.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, he was saying that I saw his interview. There was like, did you speak to the hierarchy? He goes, yeah, I spoke to them the other day. Like, I'm not worried. Like, no.
But I'm telling you, West Ham, they're better than Spurs. They're better than Spurs. They are genuinely.
They are. They
better.
have to make a change, Spurs, now, because they are literally 3 points above the relegation zone. And with those injuries, you need someone who's going to know what they're doing at that level. So yeah, there you go.
Oh, is it from Ornstein? They're saying? Is it they saying it's from Ornstein?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Ornstein.
Yeah.
26 seconds exclusive. Thomas Frank sacked as Tottenham's Hotspur head coach, working on through various possible contingency plans to replace him. They sit 14th in the Premier League, 5 points above the relegation zone. So there you go. And now it is official.
Yeah. I think they'll either get De Zerbi or get Poch back in it, because De Zerbi just left the other day.
Well, yeah, De Zerbi left yesterday, and Poch. Thing is with him, he's gonna. He would be a very hated man in the USA if just before a USA World Cup he left. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't really care. But just very quickly on Sesko, I'm really happy for him because look, he's got a lot of stick earlier on this season, and I was sort of saying about him that this when I go back to about supporting some of the players and what have you, that the earlier on the season when he didn't have much of a preseason, obviously, and he didn't take the penalty until the end at Grimsby, I felt like there was a lot of minds already made up about him. You know what I mean? Of like, he's not good enough. He's rubbish. He's actually a flop. He's this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? And it's just, and at the time I was going, well, we've got to wait and see. You know, we always say about players, isn't it? 2 seasons, and then we'll see what happens. So yeah, I'm really happy for him. And Michael Carrick's spoken of like glowing terms for him as well, hasn't he? You know, saying that actually he's a really good trainer, really good guy. Hopefully he'll be starting the next game. You know, but when he does start, we've got to do what we didn't do last night for a lot of time. He was on the pitch, put balls in the box. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's simple. And we were doing that when he wasn't on the pitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
putting some couple of balls in the box, and West Ham were just eating it up. Sassy and Mavropanos just eating up like meat and drink. So good luck. Good luck to Benjamin Sesko. I think hopefully, you know, you look at Everton, you know, big centre back. So O'Brien got sent off, so he'll probably be missing the game. I don't know about he'll miss the FA Cup game maybe, but you know, Tarkowski, Keane, whoever's starting for them. Brantford, I think, is back in. Big centre backs. Do you want to have someone who can, you know, compete for some stuff up there, or do you want to go again and try and get him running in behind and getting Boomer running in behind? So we'll have to see. But another tough away day. I know Everton ain't been great. They were poor yesterday. against Bournemouth. But listen,
But they're in good form. They're in
They're
good
in
form.
decent form. They're in decent form,
Yeah,
man.
they've risen up the
form, so
table.
every
Where are they
game's tough.
currently now? Because they were up to 6th at one point. Now they're up to 8th, like you said, because they lost
There
last
you
night.
go.
But that was their first loss in like 4 or 5 games last night. So you know they're not doing too badly either. You know what I mean? So every game's tough. We're gonna drop points. You know, it's gonna happen. And this is and we said that going into the game, didn't we? Said, look, this is Carrick away from home. That isn't Arsenal. It's your first away game that isn't Arsenal away. It's a different test. Every game's a test. Some you pass, some you stumble, but he's certainly not failed. He's not failed just yet. So you know, we keep going. Long way to go. Long way to go till now in the end of the season, but we're still in a very good space right now.
Yeah. There you go. Guys, smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Big up to each and every single one of you. We've got
read that one.
Big up Tyrone says, we also haven't seen Yoro in a 2. Flowers, exactly. He's done a lot of his work almost as a right back in that right centre-back role.
Yeah.
Spending a lot of time out there. Yes, there is an Ornstein bomber. We're aware Frank has been sacked at Chelsea. At Spurs. Check out Football Flex straight after this. I'm going to do a reaction to that. Come over there. Let me know what you're thinking about it. Who should be their next manager? Should it be Potts? Should it be De Zerbi? Should it be Glasner? Should they get an interim to the end of the season? Southgate, there you go. Imagine that. Let me know over on Football Flex. So yeah, come and give your opinions over there, and we'll see you soon, guys. Take care. Peace.